Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2. And this movie came out in 2011, directed by David Yates once again. And it has all the same cast members returning for this one. And it's the final chapter in this Harry Potter film series. And later on, we got Fantastic Beasts. And I've covered a couple of those already. Haven't seen Secrets of Dumbledore yet, but this one saw in theaters. It was huge. Everyone watched it. Everyone really loved it. And upon revisiting this movie, I was left kind of unsatisfied. The acting was good, and Ralph Fiennes, he's excellent as Lord Voldemort. I love seeing him play this character. And there was a heist scene towards the beginning that was kind of fun to watch. I mean, much like in part one, it was fun. And the movie has a good start and some interesting ideas throughout, and has a really good starting off point. Like, just about all of these Harry Potter movies have a good starting point, but they don't always carry it that well. The visual effects still looked pretty good for 2011. I'll give the movie credit for that, and there are things this movie does well from a technical standpoint, and there's some things here and there that I do like, and I wasn't really bored while watching this movie. And this movie is mostly action. Like, there's two really long action scenes in this movie that go on for a while. And so if you're looking for action, then this is the Harry Potter movie to watch. And I did like the scene where everything was revealed and we got all the information that we needed to, that was just being built up and built up and built up over the franchise. And then finally it's revealed, and that was a good scene. There were a couple of brief moments where I did enjoy the music in this movie, but aside from that, I didn't really take away much else. Most of this movie, I just didn't really feel much emotion while watching it, because all of the necessary pieces to a good movie are there, and everything is kind of set up well enough, but unfortunately, I just don't feel as though I'm getting much of a payoff from a emotional standpoint. Like, from a script standpoint, like, okay, X, Y, and Z are happening, and now we're finally seeing the conclusion to these stories, and sure, that's cool to see on paper, but it just doesn't work in this movie for me, because I just don't feel as though the buildup is there. From an emotional standpoint, I don't really care about the characters that much, and I was just left kind of wanting something. And this movie doesn't really work as a standalone film. You already have to have an attachment to everything that's going on, which kind of makes sense with this movie being like the final chapter in the story. But it also is kind of a flaw, because it doesn't really do much to set up these characters as a standalone film. And the action scenes in this movie were fine. They were better than the previous Harry Potter movies directed by David Yates. This movie probably has the best action that a David Yates movie has. I'll say that much about it. And there were some plot holes in it where I just couldn't really follow what was happening, and just didn't make sense as to why things happened in the way that they did. And the movie tries to hit certain emotions that the previous films did, but unfortunately, because of how things are executed, it just comes across as emotionally manipulative for me personally. And the romance element of the film, I didn't care for at all, because I didn't feel as though these actors had that kind of chemistry. It just fell flat for me. And for a vast majority of this film, like I said earlier, I just felt nothing, and I was just thinking about other big franchises and like the final installment in their movies and how much better they were. Like, I was thinking Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, like, great setups, great payoffs, and I love Lord of the Rings. It does those things quite well. Even the original Star Wars trilogy has some good setups and payoffs, and that's why I enjoyed that stuff as well. And there's other franchises where I can just name off certain setups and payoffs, and they're just so much better than this movie. And sure, this is better than some other stuff that was coming out at the time that kind of followed it, like the Hobbit trilogy and the Hunger Games from memory, and just Twilight, and yeah, better than those for sure. And this movie also kind of started the trend of splitting the last movie into two parts. And while one could argue that Kill Bill kind of started that trend, it didn't really get popular until around this time period, because it was all around the early to mid 2010s. Like, split the last movie into two parts. And once we got to the Hunger Games, that's when I remember, like, everyone just being sick of it. I was like, okay, we're not doing this anymore. If I could name off any movie where the entire experience is just hollow, where there was so much build-up to it, but we just got a very hollow payoff, this would be one of the biggest examples. And sure, there are worse examples that I've seen, like The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies is pretty bad, and a lot worse than this, for sure. But still, I wish that I cared a lot more than what we wound up getting, and instead of just being like, oh, the most surface level things that are on display, that's all you can take away, and just nothing else. And it was just very sad to watch in a way that was very unintentional for me. There was no fun to be had in this movie. There was no entertaining or like lighthearted moments, really, for the most part. And I get it, it's the final chapter. Everything's been building to this, and it's this whole big, gigantic final climax. But I just wish that it was better. That's really what it comes down to. Why is this not better? And this movie didn't really do anything to make itself stand out from the rest of the franchise, aside from being just the final chapter. Like, I can't really name a whole lot of great scenes from this movie. There's parts that I liked, but for the most part, it's just a hollow experience, and I just don't really care about anything that's going on in this movie. So it was a movie that was very successful, and a lot of people checked out, and it made a decent amount of money, and I'm glad that people enjoyed it, but unfortunately it just didn't really do anything for me. I remember liking it when it first came out in theaters, but I just feel as though the first four Harry Potter movies aged a lot better because they had a much better understanding of what to deliver and to make a film that was satisfying to watch. Like, if I want to watch a Harry Potter movie, I'll just check out Sorcerer's Stone, Chamber of Secrets, Prisoner of Azkaban, and Goblet of Fire. Everything that David Yates has directed, I'll just skip and just never bother with, because they're just not worth my time, in my opinion. So, with all that being said, I'm going to give Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2 a 5 out of 10. And out of all of these David Yates Harry Potter directed movies, I think Half-Blood Prince might be my favorite, simply because I was the most entertained with that one, and I could possibly come back to that one, as opposed to Order of the Phoenix or this one or Deathly Hallows Part 1, which I don't really see myself coming back to ever. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 2, and my social media links. They will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Paper Moon. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching, and have a great day.